Okay, let's move on to Michigan State. And
Mm-hmm.
great season a year ago, 11-2 overall, 7-2 in conference. Roughly 28th or so according to power rankings, about 29th on offense, 35th on defense. Projected to be better than that this year, 16th per FSP plus. I'm sorry. Number 33 on offense, number 16 on defense. They actually project their defense to get significantly better and their offense to be about the same. Mel
Right.
Tucker entering his third season. At quarterback, you got Peyton Thorne coming back. They did lose Kenneth Walker the third, but they did get Jalen Berger from Wisconsin and Jarek
Mm-hmm.
Broussard from Colorado, who I
Yes,
believe
they
was the
did.
Pac-12 Player of the Year, Offensive Player of
Mm-hmm.
the Year. And they lost their top receiver, but they got Jaden Reed back, who another good receiver. I'm a little concerned about just talking about their offense. I'm a little concerned that they have a lot to replace on their offensive line, and it didn't feel like they were as good as. I don't think their offensive line was as good as it maybe appeared a year ago. I think Kenneth Walker was spectacular even when getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. So I say that, but then I also realize there's still some talented backs there. Like it might not matter that much. On the defense, it's really interesting because I feel like they have certain areas of their defense that they feel really good about. Their
Yeah.
linebackers are deep. I think they're pretty good on the interior defensive line. The secondary was pretty bad last year. They did add the corner Amir Speed from Georgia, but I don't know who they have to rush the passer. And I think it takes more than one cornerback to fix what their secondary looked like a year ago. So I do think they will be susceptible against teams that are good at passing the ball. I think they're going to be a really good matchup for some teams in that 10-30 muddle, like we said, and I think they're going to be a really bad matchup for some teams in that muddle. It feels like a very matchup specific team.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It was never more apparent than when they beat Michigan and then go to Columbus and get beat 56-7.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's only because Ohio State decided to stop. Like
Mm-hmm.
they had nothing for the Ohio State receiving corps. They
Yeah.
had zero answers, none. And like that game was, I forget if it was 35 in the first quarter or it was something close. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous the points they scored in the first. It was whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, correct. The defense has 9 starters back, and that may not actually be that great. Like Amir Speed, by the way, the Georgia transfer is actually a stud. He played all 15 games for the best defense of all time, in my opinion, not biased. I think he's really good and has a lot to offer. But like, okay, the pass defense was when I say it's the worst, it was the literal worst. Like it didn't get worse.
They
In
could
Power
definitely
5.
use 3 Amir Speeds on their team.
No, I think they legitimately, like by the stats, I think they had the worst passing defense in the Power 5. I
They
believe.
allowed the most passing yardage in the Power Five. Yeah. Actually, they allowed the most passing yardage by any team in 5 years.
Did not know. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Let's go to offense. The Berger and Broussard coming in are just, in fact, they're probably more talented than Kenneth Walker was when he came in. Like, okay, maybe not more
More well
talented,
known, at least.
more heralded.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have just as much of a chance to pop as Kenneth Walker did a year ago. I believe. I think that whole system suits running backs really well. And I think that's what Mel Tucker's trying to do there. You're right. They got incredibly lucky and won 11 games last year. The number 7.5, though. It's
I know.
7.5. That is so light.
It's
like,
so low.
That's so. How am I supposed to go another way? Like they get Western Michigan, then Akron, then they go to Washington, who they'll beat. That's a first-year head coach. Like there's a lot of very winnable games here. You play Illinois, Indiana, also Rutgers. You get to play Maryland. So yeah, I'm going to take the over. I think 8-4 is more normal. Yeah, I think 8-4 is kind of a step back to reality for Michigan State, and this, which by the way is still a good year. I think even 9-3, you could talk me that 9-3 is more likely than 7-5 in the under. So yes, the Vegas number's set. I'm going to be going over on Michigan State. I think they get some of these defensive flaws mixed out. Maybe they're not the worst in the Big Ten or the Power Five. Maybe they get slightly better. And imagine that they won 11 games and had the worst pass defense that we've seen in 5 years. That's something crazy. So maybe they improve there a little bit. Any improvement there would be helpful. And go win 8 games. Let's go.
Looking at their schedule, it's kind of odd how I don't really feel like I see any true coin flip games.
Yeah.
I feel like I either make them a slight underdog or a slight favorite in any close matchup. And I'm actually going to just lean under here, not confident at all. They have to go to Penn State. They have to go to Michigan. I don't like for their sake that the Maryland game is on the road. And the one thing Maryland does well is pass the ball. I know they beat them last year.
Yeah.
But to me, that they probably have a 64% chance of winning that game.
Okay.
You'd feel better about it being 80%. I don't know. And I'd also same thing with Washington. I do think there's a little chance they get them early. That's going to be their first real test. And it's like we talked about in our Washington win totals pod. We feel like, at least I feel like, they might be this year's Tennessee.
Mm.
And
come now.
They have talented quarterback and they have some talented receivers. And that might be all it takes. I give Michigan State the lean. I think they're favored. I would favor them against Washington, but I don't know that it's more than 60-40. And between the Washington, Maryland games, they might drop one. They also have Wisconsin and Minnesota from the other side. And I actually think, again, those might be your coin flip games. Those feel about as coin flippy as they get. I do like for Michigan State, they're both at home. You got Penn State on the road at the end of the year. Ohio State, to me, feels like an automatic loss. I feel like they're probably getting some revenge coming their way against Michigan this year. I don't know. I am not confident in this at all. I'm just going to lean under.
Okay. Have we agreed on a pick yet?
Michigan.
Okay, we agreed on the Michigan over because that felt wildly low. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Of all the teams to agree on.
I know.
We might have the most disparate opinion about them.
Could be more different on the Michigan takes, but they will be winning more than 9 games.